lap, first corner is the most pressure you're going to feel across this whole race. Getting it off the line is one of the toughest things you can do as we get 5 lights up. And the Bathurst Enduro is underway for Sprint 2 with a great start from the front runners at the TMX boys as well inside of the top 10 as they run round turn number 1. You can see Lawrence has got a good start away. They've kept themselves nice, clean and consistent, Sinka. For the final race of the season, it's a scramble towards turn 1 for the front runners and the whole field in behind. Another leads them through one already. Davis Wick and Sinka wanting to try and keep right on the tail of Doug Dowling. Andy Rowley was climbing at the front of the lead as well. Faze there, Katakazinas.
Yes, he did.
Labouring still going at each other here. 3 minutes down, we've got 70 minutes to go. They're going to go round a lot of times. It's 1 minute 21 lap times here. We're not going to stop. Shane Ratcliffe fighting out as well. Ray Oliver's got Bradley Wall alongside. Looks like Daniel Harding has had some form of incident. We'll pick up on that one in a minute. But Oliver on the inside, got to come back behind him.
Further back as we're underway. James Scott will lead them up the hill, up towards turn 1. Can they keep it clean? There's already contact with Dolphin and Stonefit on the straight as they run round turn 2. Dogs and Warboys being cautious off the exit of turn 1. What a run off the line, but an atrocity has happened to Troy Stone Street off the start. There's no other way to say it. I think it was maybe off of the Will Brown and just absolutely Superman punched him straight into the wall on the left hand.
Welcome one and all to the third round of the Warren Brown V8 Supercars SRW Championship. We got a little bit of a different setup here tonight. Good old Sinka is on assignment, which actually means he's probably out drinking on a beach somewhere. So it's me taking over play-by-play duties for tonight. So you have to listen to more of me this time around. Yay. Anyways, I'm joined in the booth with good old Cowie. First of all, Cowie, how you doing today?
And I'm going pretty good, except that I played golf today and hit one 6 inches from the pin on a par 3, and someone got a hole in one on the hole, so I couldn't even win the nearest to pin today. So there you go. No, I'm going great, buddy. It's good to be. It's been a while since I've been in the comms, and of course, I've set up a nice rainy session for the boys, and I don't get to have fun sliding around like they do.
Yes, sir. You get the best view in the house of watching everyone trying to keep these monsters on the track despite the slippery elements. We're gonna go ahead and go on, Cowie.
No, you're right. I was going to say I did intend these conditions to maybe be a little bit heavier, but one of the things I do is I leave it at realistic weather conditions, and that means that sometimes it's, it says it's going to rain and it doesn't, because ultimately it's a forecast.
Absolutely. Really just trying to set everything up and hope it works out correctly. Going to go ahead and cut to the point standings. Your point leader is Brett Taylor with EWT Racing. It's a lockout for the top 3 spots for EWT, with Craig Healy just about 9 points behind, Scotty Weston in 3rd, and then Jaron Wickman with Syndicate Racing in 4th, Jacob McIntyre in P5. And then give me a second, having a little issues with my screen.
Well, we got Ben O'Connell, Syndicate Racing, Marty Hughes, Chris Tomlin, Diane Fieldman with my team, Performance Sim Racings, and Stephen Martin, who hasn't been out on track yet, so did register but not out there. So the AMs, but again, this early on, it's still only a couple of rounds in, but the Pro AMs, Brandon Levin and Troy Dooley, 1 point separating them both before the drop and after, so that's pretty tight there. Jordan Williams and Peter Sattler from Dark Horse and Angry Birds Racing. Myself sitting in 5th. Tonight's going to be a drop round for me, unfortunately. And Timothy Miles, Jacob Taylor, Kurt Nommenson, and Mitch Noble, I think, bring out the 10.
Yes, sir. And then we have Liam Amos in 11th for SRB. Clutters, Daniel Clutterbuck in 12th for TMX. Mesa Martin for the Pelicans in 13th, and then Kai Jones and Hayden Cuppet for Sideways Esport, rounding out the top 15.
Big shout out to Clutters as well for making it easy for me. His website's sort of handling all the points and that now, so there's not as much push on me to get the results up quick. So thanks, Clutters.
Yeah, absolute legend, because dealing with points and calculating everything, it is not easy. So he's doing the Lord's work on that one. And cutting to the pros, we have Ryan Mueller leading for the Pelicans, with Ryan Nielsen for BAR in 2nd, Will Buchanan with ATX Revolution E-Racing in 3rd, Stephen Banks for the Pelicans in 4th, James Scott rounding out the top 5 with Chiefs Esports. And then we go Jonathan Gallen with the Pelicans, Joshua Horton with Vermilion Esports, William Morgan and Blake Urquhart with the Pelicans once again, 8th and 9th, Ricky Durham rounding out the top 10, and then Peter Pav, Ryan Cox, and Jax Nova.
Got quite a few Pelicans out there. The boys are great supporters of the league, and I've raced quite a few of them. Enjoy racing, had some good battles, had some bad battles, that's just racing. And at the moment, Gallen and Peter Pav, they've been previous winners of the Pro-Ams, so that's why they're up in the pros competing with the big boys. And on that practice session, both of their times were fairly up there.
Yeah, and another thing to keep an eye on, it's another round that James Scott is missing. So it's
Ryan Mueller. He absolutely craves these conditions. If we had his way, every race would be wet, and most of them would be diabolically wet. So that's the way he runs. So he'd be loving it out there. probably already complaining that it's not wet enough. We had rain for the first hour of practice, and then it's sort of dried out since then. So I think you might see a few guys probably go out on a wet, put a lap down, and then go back in and give the slicks a go. So I think, in the wets, they're still sliding around. Have we got many of them on slicks at the moment? There you go, they're all on slicks. So it normally takes a couple of laps to get up to temp. So I wouldn't expect anything amazing this first sort of lap out. But give it lap 2, 3, 4, that's when you're going to start to see, the guys that have found some grip, well, they'll be up the top.
And that's going to be really interesting because you can see there's quite a few puddles on the track, and it's not just kind of by the curbs too. Like, you see some puddles right there and at the apex and right at the exits of the corner. So you're going to have to be working real hard to make sure you keep it in the grippy stuff. Otherwise, we're going to see a lot of people going off and not a whole lot of laps turned. And this is a difficult qualifying session too, on top of that, because of the fact that Sebring is one of the longer circuits on iRacing. This is a 2-minute lap time. So 15 minutes of qualifying with laps these long, they go by quick, Cowie. You don't have a whole lot of time to get a lap in, really.
One of the things about Sebring too is you've got those changing track conditions too, so you've got to deal with wet concrete as well as wet asphalt. So remember, it was once a runway for the US US Air Force, I think. So, and you can see there Jacob Trainer having a bit of a moment on my screen. But look, what it comes down to is, there will be a dry line out there, and these cars, Rooster Tails, you see Rooster Tails who used to be, it's still not ready for wets. Obviously, we've got most of the field being a pioneer at the moment, realising that by the, once you get the tyres up to temp, you can actually get some grip out of these tyres. But come race time, those puddles are still there. Well, they're going to be in those areas where you want to try and make a pass. So we might see, a few doomed attempts in that race, which should make it pretty exciting.
Yeah, it'll be a great night of work for us, but a bad night of work for the race stewards.
Look, let's hope not. Let's hope it's all fair and love and war and motor racing. But we know that, look, I know how many times something's happened to me and I've called it out thinking that, something diabolical's happened and I've spun myself. Or I'm the instigator of the moment. So, it's one perspective when you're in the car. It's another when you're, getting to watch it here from the box seat.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I absolutely love this place. This place kicks your butt, but in the best way possible. It's so tricky and it's so challenging, but when you get it right, there's very few more amazing feelings in motorsports than getting a good lap around this place.
Can't say I'm a total fan of Sebring. It's it tends to have more bite than bark. So look, it's been one of those shows. I did try the 12-hour and bombed out, and I know I've had a couple of great races here. Clutter's actually stole my first win with SRW on the line. But these things happen. It was it's a great place to race, but yeah, I don't know if I call it my favourite, but you can just see the puddles here, right on those apexes. Skies looks fairly clear, so I don't think we're going to get any more rain, but there's still a bit of spray. So maybe have a look on board. Are we getting the drivers affected by the spray much?
While you're doing that, I'm taking a look at the weather, and the chance of rain jumps up to 38% chance in another 15 minutes in sim. And then it jumps back down to 10%, and then basically nothing throughout the rest of the event. So it might be it rain-wise. We might have a little more chaos on the horizon.
Just having a look at some of the lap times here. So these guys on slicks, they're still doing 2:16, 17s, the leaders at the moment. You know, a dry time around here is probably 2:01, maybe even some like a Scott might get it into the 59s, 1 minute 59. So, you know, they're still a fair bit off the pace. I would not be surprised if wets may have been a quicker option early on, but looks like it's about that crossover time.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Right now, provisional pole is Joe Oosterwall at a 2:16.876. Joel has about, I'd say, 2/10 over Urquhart back in second. Jaron Wickman for the AMs up in P3 right now. Oh, new quick time. Ryan Nelson with a 2:15.915 goes to the top of the charts. Well, times are really starting to come down now, Cowie.
Well, look, they're starting to get dry lines. People starting to push a little bit harder. So that time of Ryan Nielsen is a second quicker than anyone else. So this is where, you know, this is where you earn your pro badge, I think. And, you know, these are the reasons that I'm still a pro-am. But, you know, it's that, just that extra level of commitment, that extra, you know, 3-5Ks an hour through a corner. And when you add them up over 20 corners, you know, there's 2 seconds a lap.
New quick time once again. Ryan Mueller goes a 10th faster, 2:15.813 for the point leader.
The toe is probably still worth something down the back here. It used to be worth about 2 or 3 tenths. You might see a few of the teams working together to try and give each other a slingshot. In the dry, so far this season, the top 30 positions have been, you know, separated by less than 2 seconds. So, you know, that little 3 to 5Ks an hour a corner makes a big difference. And, you know, you get 2 tenths from a toe, that might put you up 5 or 6 positions.
Absolutely. New quick time again. William Morgan, 2:15.705. Lap times are getting quicker, but not too much quicker. Just a 10th here and there. They continue to be so unbelievably close on their lap times. That's something you just touched on there, Cowie, and that's something that I've always loved about this series is how close everyone is on pace. And even still, it's about I'd say a second all the way down to Urquhart in, where is he right now? P9. So that's impressive for rainy conditions with everyone still being as close as they are right now.
Blake Urquhart, our recent Pro-Am winner from last season, promoted up into the pros. It's good to see him come back because, you know, sometimes you have people that decide to, you know, leave once they get out of the Pro-Ams, especially when, you know, someone like a James Scott or a Rayhan Lineage has signed up, because those guys are extraordinarily quick. But, yeah, it's good to see that we've got quite a few guys. Peter is another one, a Pro-Am winner from a couple of seasons ago. So, you know, still here racing, enjoying the racing. And I must admit, I've enjoyed the camaraderie racing with these boys for a couple of years now. And we're all really respectful and, you know, having a good time.
Yes, sir. New quick time once again. Ryan Mueller back on top with a 2:15.449.
As M. Watson has said, my goat mule up at the top, not surprised. Yeah, well, he doesn't have James Scott to deal with tonight, though. Will Morgan and Ryan Nielsen, they have really stepped up and have been giving a good battle the first 2 rounds. Joel Osterwald, he's having a great one. P4 Pro-Am. I don't know if I've misclassed Joel just yet, but as we do after round 3 is when I will review all of the driver classifications. So nothing is set in concrete, and obviously I'll get that through to you boys before the next round. But that's a great performance. P4 qualifying. You know, sometimes you can't just go on race results when you are classifying drivers into classes. You've got to look at their quality times because, you know, that's where the pure pace is.
Absolutely, and we also have a few AMs up in the fray as well. You see Ben O'Connell sitting in P10 and Brett Taylor right behind him. So it's a good showing, not just for the right class cars, but even the Pro-Ams and AMs as well. Like you said, Mr. Wall sitting there in a solid P4.
I'll be honest with a few of the boys on comms here, so I can't take this back. But there's a few boys that are, where we're right on the edge of being pros or pro-ams or AMs, and there's a couple of guys that their performances each year have, just been right up the top. I'm keeping an eye on them, but when you've been in a division for a certain length of time, I don't want to just pull you out of it because you're suddenly quicker. I'll give you a chance to win it and earn your promotion. But they're probably lucky we had a few more pros join this season that just fleshed it out, or a few people might have gone up.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, Joel Oosterwall was drifting through a couple of these corners, just absolutely wheeling it. Look at that. Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know.
Beautiful.
Faster though.
It's not, but darn if it's not cool to watch.
Well, it could also be him trying to heat up his rears to have one last lap. It is a sprint round tonight, so we've got a 20-minute race followed by a 40-minute reverse top 10. So, he's maybe gone out on cold slicks and thought, if I slide it around, maybe that gets enough heat in it where I can have a lap, because you've only got under 3 minutes now left.
Yeah, it's definitely a good strategy. I know some of the meta in oval track is doing a little burnout, if possible, to try to build a little bit of heat in the rear tires. So it's definitely not something I'm not used to here.
Well, look, you try anything to see if you can get heat into tires for one lap. And that's the thing. Like, I think a few of these boys are going out on out laps or first lap with cold rubber. And, they're 2 or 3 or 4 tenths down after a sector. So, it really does take, in these conditions, a couple of laps to get the heat into those tyres. We are still seeing little rooster tails, so it's not completely dry out there, but it is drivable. But we're going to see stuff like that tonight, buddy. That's what's going to be exciting, because it's a little bit offline. You go for a move, there's a moment. I think there is a little bit of jeopardy in these sort of conditions, because if you go out on wets and it's suddenly really dry, then, you're going to be pitting, and that'll put you 35, 40 seconds behind the field, and then you're hoping for a safety car to get back in it. And being at a 20-minute race control's reluctant to pull the trigger on safety cars, and there is a fair bit of runoff here at Sebring too.
Yeah, but the fun thing about Sebring is there's still plenty of areas on this track where a safety car can absolutely happen. I think back to, I believe it might have been last season with the GR86s. Those races here were wild, and you definitely got to look out for turn 1. Turn 1 is going to be an adventure for everyone because of the changing conditions, and turn 1 at Sebring is already difficult enough. But you got all that space going into the corner that you're never quite sure where your entry should be, and trying to actually keep an eye on the apex is difficult. And then all of a sudden it goes from all that space to a really narrow stretch of track on the exit with a whole lot of dirt. So it's very easy to slide wide into that dirt. And that's typically where we see a lot of safety car worthy accidents, is cars going off into that dirt on turn 1, losing it in front of traffic, and calamity happens because you don't have a whole lot of space to dodge it.
Well, look, there's a few visual references that you need to use on this track: lines and edges of walls, and I think there's a witch's hat on the apex of T1 as well that you're looking for. But in the wet, behind other cars, even when it's a little bit less water, say it looks like it has dried up a little bit. I think there's about 15 minutes between the end of qualifying and the start of the race.
Yep, and it certainly looks that way. Like you said, looks a little more dry, but we're going to go ahead and cut to the starting lineup for tonight's race. Your pole sitter, Ryan Mueller for the Pelicans, and you see he ended up going quicker on that pole lap, put in a 2:15.152. And Ryan Nielsen for BAR. A few more Pelicans with William Morgan and Jonathan Gallen, 3rd and 4th. Joel Oosterwall. And then 3 more Pelicans with Peter Pav, Stephen Banks, and Blake Urquhart. Brett Taylor and Brandon Levin round out the top 10 for EWT and Team SRW.
Great effort from
Scotty
us all
Weston.
there as well. P4. That's awesome.
Absolutely. It's always incredibly impressive when you see an AM or a Pro-Am make their way into the top 5 and top 10. And then you got Jordan Williams in Revolution Esports in P12, Ben O'Connell for Syndicate Racing P13, Mitchie Noble in Team SRB P14, Jaron Wickman for Syndicate in P15, Daniel Clutterbuck P16 for TMX, and then Jack Stova Marty Hughes for the Pelicans, Chris Tomlin for LCR Esports, and Chris Nominson for Revolution Esports, rounding out the top 20. And then Michael Quash in P21 for TMX, Dive Eldman for Performance Sim Sports in P22, Jacob Trainer and Jacob McIntyre for Team SRB 23rd and 24th. And our stewards and our safety car driver rounding out the field.
Having a look at the chat, I know who bloody OCE is now. It's Jacob at the back there. He's saying the conditions not a lot of grip, and it looks like his setup's not working, man. That's always hard when you can't get your setup to do what you needed to do. And was it Jerry asking where Troy is, my teammate? He's back on his FIFO work, so he'll probably be out the next couple of weeks. But he's another one of those guys. I told him last week, him and Brandon, they're right on the cusp of the pros, so we'll keep an eye on them, as Jacob's suggesting.
Absolutely, and here we go. Just the final few seconds before the lights go out. Ryan Mueller on pole. And green means go. We are underway at Sebring. Good jump for Mueller. Not the greatest of starts for Nielsen.
It's the better spectacle in motorsports, seeing them go like 7 wide. That's awesome.
Absolutely. You saw a little bit of contact between Mueller and Nelson as they're going through turn 1. Few cars sideways, but nothing too crazy.
Everyone's got through that. That's a great start by the field, side by side. Very tricky in these conditions.
Absolutely. As you see Mueller get a little sideways in front of Nielsen, that's going to give Ryan an opportunity. Look into the outside, now maybe the inside. Oh, we got someone going around in the back. Oh, no, but... And, wow, that was not as bad as it should have been. Everyone did a great job.
It'll be interesting to see if race control is on him about holding his brakes. The fact that he saved it, he might have got away with that. But that was a bit of a tap. I'm sure he'll be on the radio to see what happened. Oh,
not yet. Oh, just about peeped it out of the wall.
Oh.
What a save. Oh, meanwhile, Nielsen is all over the back of Mueller.
And we're only on lap 1. I called it. It's going to happen. It's going to be fun tonight.
Oh, you can say that again. Meanwhile, Ben O'Connell dropped his packets on the starting grid. Heartbreak. Great qualifying effort for him.
Yeah, it's sort of the equivalent of a mechanical breakdown out there, but yeah, never want to see that. Unfortunately, rainy conditions tend to, test PCs, and sometimes, your PC can't handle 20 or 30 cars on the grid, and rain and crowds.
Yeah, iRacing is not always the kindest to our CPUs.
Look, I think they do pretty good, really, because you can still play it on a fairly ordinary PC, but again, these days everyone wants triples or VR and high graphics, and, when you start tweaking that, it can have moments, and then it can be just your internet connection too. Your computer can be awesome, and your internet decides to bug out, or you've got, 80 of your neighbours all watching Netflix at the same time.
Yeah, amen to that. Knock on wood, my computer is almost 6 years old and counting. Meanwhile,
Yes.
Mueller has. Sorry to cut you off, Cowie, but Mueller he has not dropped Ryan Nielsen. Nielsen is continuing to be all over the back of that bird.
Look at some nice battles in the backpack here. Chris Tomlin, 15th. Marty Hughes in there as well. Jared Wickman, Joel Osterwald getting back through from his spin earlier. So there's some fair bit of action going on in the backpack here. Nice little train.
Absolutely. See, Morgan's starting to catch up to Nielsen and Mueller just a little bit. He's also not really letting them drive away.
I don't know if you want to have a look and see if the second window, we can have a bit of a look at the back battle. I'll look at the front. Hopefully it's not too choppy.
Yeah, you see a good battle with Tomlin.
There's a
Tomlin
great
trying to
train
hold off
going
Brainer.
here, and well, it's, as I said, it's sort of everyone's sort of still feeling for grip, but now sort of 2-3 laps in, they're all sort of starting to find a bit of heat in the tyres. So now it starts to come down to bravery, or do you just sit behind and try and wait for a mistake? It is so easy just to lose a little bit of grip, be a bit hard on the throttle, be a bit deep under braces, a little bit of blinking there from, I'm not sure if that was Jordan up ahead that blinked out on my screen, so that might be something the race control's keeping an eye on too.
Yeah, he's also blinking on my screen. It's always nerve-wracking for the car behind.
Well, I've had a car reappear inside me, so you know, that's created some moments. Again, one of the things that you've got to deal with when you are racing online. But I mean, the fact that we can be racing from various parts of the world and all be racing together, albeit if the ping's a little bit high, you're giving more room. You know, so, but just that ability to do that, you know, it's amazing. You know, doing a Daytona, I think I did the big Daytona 24-hour where we, I think it was like 9,000 drivers registered or something, and it actually crashed iRacing, and we had to wait 2 hours for it to come back up again. But they got it going, like that's amazing. It was like 100 splits.
I remember that day. Fun times.
Yeah, during COVID, I suppose when everyone in that real life racing had a sim. I think the sim crave has quietened a little, but the technology and just the wheelbases and that are coming out now is making it so much more. Who was that, Jordan Williams?
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, you called it. He is slow off of the corner.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of a slide, and it cost him about 5 or 6 spots. We'll keep an ear out on the radio to see if he's actually called it in or not, but I don't see anything flash up. So it might have been a self-error there, but that's cost him about 6 or 7 spots, and that's how cutthroat it can be out here for SRW. You know, in our V8 Tuesday night league, we've got some great races, and you know, now the confidence amongst the group to battle with each other is all there.
Oh no! We got one of the LCR cars sliding through the apex. Oh! I think someone hit him. Yeah, but I think someone still made contact with him. I think that might have been Trainer.
I think he made contact.
Right, bam, right there.
Yeah, but I think originally Tomlin made contact with the car, yellow car in front, and that sort of, you know, unsettled his car and made that very hard. I mean, yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, Marty Hughes.
Outbreak himself a little. But, I mean, he did pretty well to hold it, and he's on his brakes, so he didn't do anything wrong there. Because, again, the race control rule is hold your brakes in those situations. You know, I mean, be predictable if you can.
And especially being on the wet grass, like whatever little grip you have on the grass, you can divide that by 1,000. There is absolutely nothing you can do once you're sliding on that grass. So it was incredible that he didn't just absolutely shoot through the corner on Mock Jesus the moment he got onto the grass.
Great battle here for P4 and 5 between Banks and Urquhart as well, watching this go on. Also going to keep an eye on Gallen. He's holding P10, the all-important P1 for race number 2. So let's keep an eye on that. I might flick to him now, though there is still a great battle in the backfield. Gallen's in the front of this. Little sniffy had a look inside there. Let's move forward to him.
Yeah, this intra-team battle between the Pelicans is really interesting to watch, with all three of them right there amongst each other.
We used to say the same thing about the Fishy Motorsports crew when we had 10 of them on track. You know, like you just can't avoid them. There's what, 6, 7, 8 Pelicans out there. So I think we need them to make sure that there's something to help us tell what their cars are. Though I must say the Pelican looks awesome on Gallon's car.
That it does, and you are correct, because it's always been a bit difficult trying to remember which shade of blue is associated to which Pelican. Yeah, I'm getting better at it, but yeah, the branding though, these paints are just so fantastic.
He's right on the back of Clutters at the moment, who's maybe struggled a little bit here, but again, it's so easy to get it slightly wrong on exit, and then suddenly you're under pressure from the car behind. And in these conditions, just 5-10% throttle or a little bit of curb when you don't want it. You see there, I think he might have got a tap. Yeah, Gallon got out of that, and it was a good save from Clutters. Back up the front,
Yeah.
that's looking pretty exciting too, buddy.
Yeah, they are continuing to battle amongst themselves. Meanwhile, Mueller has started to run away from Ryan Nielsen. He's about 1.5, 1.4 ahead. So
coming up on the halfway point here. So race control incident on lap 3, investigating. So we'll keep an eye on that. Perhaps that might have been that incident with Tomlin. TOM?
Correct.
Would be. So, yeah, having a look at it, that's been called out.
Meanwhile, Oosterwald's making his way through the EWT cars, trying to gain back all that track position he lost on lap 1.
Urquhart putting a bit of pressure on Banks here too. So, but there, look at this pack battle here. Oosterwald, he's got some confidence out there in the wet. That's an interesting thing. You know, remember, I'm the admin here, so I've got to keep an eye on people's results and how they're driving. But that doesn't mean he's going to get a promotion. It just means I'm keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, and that's why it was such a bummer when he had his...
Oh, no.
And he's having another moment. Glides wide through the hairpin. Yeah, thankfully it wasn't anywhere near as bad as his incident on lap 1, which he's still trying to recover from.
It's on the bottom of the green there. Mitch Noble having a go at Gallon, so I think he might have had a little moment. We're putting the pressure right on, but now Gallon's got a good exit and putting it back on Clutters. So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It can change, you know, 2 or 3 times a lap. You get a good exit, he gets a bad one, you get some distance. You get a bad one the next corner, he gets a good one, and suddenly he's right back on your butt again.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing about a track like Sebring. It's big and a lot of corners and a lot of easy corners to mess up here, especially leading into all these long straightaways.
There is a bit more grip out there because you can see the drivers sort of prepared to start using the curbs a little bit more. If it was really, truly wet, you would be going nowhere near them. It's a nice move up the inside here on Gallon, on Clutterbuck coming into the last corner too. Looks like he's probably going to get that done. And look at
we got Hughes going around! Just by himself, thankfully.
Oh, easy.
Trying to get it turned around. Almost Austin Powers-ing himself right there.
Oh, look at this battle here for P8, 9, and 10 at the moment. Inside from Mitch Noble on Clutters. Looks like he's got the job done there too. And that's Osterwald coming up.
We're 3 wide! Oh, traitor in the wall!
Oh,
3 wide does not work there, lads.
that's before he's gone in there.
No, it was after. It was 3
Here we
wide with him, Clutterbuck and Williams. Oh, just ping-ponging. And then they continue to make contact. Bam.
Yes, who was that on the inside? Was it I didn't see who was on the inside there, but he got a little bit loose again. Well, race control will have a look at that. But sometimes, yeah, in these conditions especially, you know, you get tapped the wrong way, you're just a pinball, you got no control.
Absolutely.
That's
Meanwhile,
sort of one of those ones where he copped it from the car in the middle too, so it's sort of, the car that hit him is probably not the one at fault either, so that'll be an interesting one for race control.
yeah, honestly, I kind of just want to say it was a racing deal, just 3 wide. Sometimes that happens.
Certainly can be. Yeah, it's wet. You're out there 3 wide. I mean, yeah. I suppose in the end, when you start something 3 wide and you end up on the receiving end of it, who knows? But again, that's what we've got race control for. We can talk about and speculate. They're the ones that get to make the decision.
And let's see, and I believe that's exactly what race control called.
That's for the trainer incident. Yep, race control. As said, racing incident is what it is. Ryan Mueller's got that lead out to 3.6 seconds now. Nielsen and Morgan are putting on a bit of a battle. That's fairly close as well. And
wow. Meanwhile, sorry to cut you off, Cowie, but meanwhile, going through Sunset, man, Oosterwald and Noble almost made some serious contact. Oosterwald had to go way wide to avoid just absolutely clobbering the 956, and now he's having to get the spot back from Scotty Weston.
Mitch Noble holding it there on the inside. But Oosterwald, he showed pace, qualified P4, so he's still quick and looks like he's found the groove and still got some grip. So this is a great little battle going on.
Absolutely, and they've pretty much been battling with each other all race long.
Well, unfortunate sort of spin early on in the race cost him that spot, and he's now fighting to try and get back into the P10. Remember, this is a reverse top 10, so that is P10. Puts you P1 for race number 2. Whoa. So, little wobble.
A bit of fishtail. Yeah, you saw it. Little bit of a inadvertent hip check to Scotty Weston.
Oh, no, Gallen's had a moment as well now, too. But looks like he had enough of a buffer to deal with it.
Yeah, he's still ahead of Clutterbuck, but Clutters is right back on him now.
Well, that Oosterwald Noble battle, that's for the all-important P10, P1 for next race.
Oh, Scotty Weston goes wide. Now he's got to keep an eye out for his teammate, Brent Taylor, trying to slip by.
Look, the boys are racing well. Looks like it's a lot of fun out there tonight. I'm sort of spewing that Sinka needed to fill in. But it has been enjoyable to watch. Oh, it looks like Tomlin has picked up a 5-second penalty for causing a collision, which we thought that might have been the case when he locked up there.
Yep, I'd say that's a fair decision for race control.
Well, what do you guys think about going to a time penalty? I'm quite enjoying it. Something like that was a minor incident. Both drivers sort of recovered, but it cost them both positions. Perhaps it's only worth 5 seconds. I mean, up until this season, it's been, you know, drive-through penalty, pit lane start, or a 40-second stop and hold. So this is just giving race control a bit more room to be discretionary and maybe sort of allocate a penalty, you know, based on severity. Well, I mean, what does the chat think? And Chris not enjoying the race. It looks like he might be dropping out tonight. Sorry, buddy. Well, I mean, it's been some great racing out there. It's just unfortunate sometimes when you can't get it set up and get the car to do what you want it to do. You know, it really puts you behind the 8 ball, buddy.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, up towards the front, William Morgan has dropped his teammates and he has run down Ryan Nielsen. It is only a couple tenths, if that. William all over the back of the Mustang. But Nielsen got a he got a much better exit, giving him a whole lot of space to work with right now.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Like, you know, 20 seconds ago, that was a close battle, you know, and then suddenly he gets a better exit and he's got, you know, half a second. But keeping an eye on this battle between Mitch Noble and Joe Osterwall on the bottom screen, that is the battle for P10. We've got only a couple of minutes left, I think, of this motor race. So just over 2 minutes, so maybe this lap and one more.
Yep. Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Can Joel get it done and get back up to the front where he was in quali?
I think it's possible. Meanwhile, here comes Ryan Mueller off of Sunset to take the white flag. 1 lap to go here in race 1 at Sebring.
Yeah, Barney's waving it.
Oh, meanwhile, Jordan Williams, he's going to have a lot to deal with going down into Sunset. Got a terrible exit. He's got Wickman to the inside.
Oosterwall closing in on the bottom screen too.
Nova trying to follow Wickman through. Jaron slides up. Here comes Williams with the crossover. Wickman going way wide. It's a tuck back in behind Williams. That he did. He's looking. Oh, Williams going way defensive down into turn 1. And Nova trying to pull the crossover. He's going to get Wickman. Maybe. Oh my God, 3-1 again. Oh, Wickman smartly backs out of it. Whoa, so close between Nova and Quash right there.
Quash having a great result up there as well. He's cranking it well. Haven't seen him for the first couple of weeks, so it's good to see him back.
Yeah, Quash, one of the biggest movers tonight, up 4 spots.
Mitch Noble got a bit of a slide on exit on the back, 2 down the bottom there. Also right on his tail. This is going to be interesting too. Looking for a way round.
Whoa.
Oh, Mitch is making that Mustang as wide as he possibly can. And we look at the top screen as well. There's a battle going on there too.
Oh, we're too many battles. We're running out of screens.
Unfortunately, a little bit choppy on the bottom there. It's looking good on my screen, so I think it's my internet, so I do apologise. But good battle here from Joel Osterwall, but must be getting near the end. Ryan Mueller, 5 seconds. He's opened that out to coming down the back straight. The final corner.
Yes, sir. Coming through Sunset for the final time in race 1. Dominant performance. He wanted the rain. He got the rain, and he's got the checker. Ryan Mueller wins race 1 at Sebring.
He loves these conditions. It's battle. Oosterwall looking for a sway up the inside.
Oh, wow. There was hardly any gap. Meanwhile, the battle between Banks and Urquhart. Oh, he's to the inside. Oosterwall trying to get the power down. They're side by side. It's going to... Nope, not going to be a photo finish after all. Noble's going to pull him.
Good drive, good defensive last lap there from Mitch Noble. And that will put him on pole for race number 2. So, fair bit happening in that race, buddy.
Yeah.
I think we even captured a quarter of what was actually going on, but some great driving and, for there only to be, 1 or 2 incidents in the whole race in those conditions. Yeah, hats off to the boys. Looks like they had a lot of fun out there.
And they really weren't big incidents either. Like, no meatballs, no cars, just absolutely getting obliterated. Just benign racing deals. Or not quite racing deals, but you know what I mean.
Well, I was going to say some good saves from contact as well in tricky conditions. So, there's a couple of the boys there that got sort of tapped and bounced in a couple of racing incidents and, still managed to, pull it up and get it back on the track. That shows some good skill. And I mean, as I said, I've been racing with these boys for a few years now. So, we've got a good sort of core group that, keep coming back week after week, racing each other. And it's great to see.
Absolutely. See everyone having fun on their way back to pit road. And now we wait as we look at the final finishing results. Ryan Mueller taking the win in the pro class. Pro-Am win looks like it's going to go to Brandon Levin. And Scotty Weston brings home another win in the AMS class. Scotty Weston, he's been running really well the last season plus, Cowie. I've seen him up at the front quite often in the AM class.
He's having a good start this season too. So him, Brett Taylor, Scotty Weston, even Jaron Wickman has been sort of joining that little bit. Marty Hughes at times, there's and then you say Quashy as well. There's a great battle between those boys. And I was an AM once myself. I've gone up, so I had a win, so I can't go back. And that's I'm giving these boys a chance. Scotty Weston, he's had a few close sort of bridesmaid seasons, so perhaps this is his breakout one.
Absolutely.
Now, those position changes, we had them. No, they've. Sorry, I'm looking at qualifying. That'd be why. That's through me. But it's Mitch Noble will be on pole for race number 2, and look, I think in these conditions, it's going to be great to see the likes of the Ryans and William and Stephen and Blake and Peter and even Brandon that are trying to make their way through, Dan Clutterbuck, Mitch Noble, John Gallen. He's a previous AM winner up in the pros, and he's got pace, and I think his qualifying was right up there at this track. So he's going to be a wall for some of those boys. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. And this is I don't know if I want to expand on this point, considering everyone is well aware of my ability to commentators curse everybody. But up to this point so far, it is a fantastic points night for Ryan Mueller, and one he needs to have. He's coming in as the current point leader. Given how difficult someone like a James Scott is to battle with, and battle with 4 wins, trying to get as much points as he can is critical, and he has done that so far with a fantastic win from pole. I don't know who did the fastest lap in that race, but it's exactly the performance Ryan needs to hold on to and grow his points advantage.
Look, you take any win you can. The way the point structure works for the sprint rounds, it's basically a third and 2/3. So the next race is worth double the points of the first race. Being a 40-minute race, that's how it should be. So again, I suppose if you wanted to maximise your points, you maybe try to finish 5th or 6th in the first race rather than win it. But these boys are racers. They're not trying to, finish 5th or 6th. They're trying to win. And if you can't win, especially in that first race, they're trying to get to P10 or P9 so they can be on the front row for race number 2.
Yeah, and honestly, for a good chunk of these drivers, the plan is, no, I'm going to win that first race, start 10th, and then drive up to the front and win that second race.
Well, that's it. And look, these guys that are up the front week after week, they're good enough to do that. And given these little bit of variable conditions, there's, you force a little error of the car in front, he breaks a little bit deeper, suddenly he's got a little bit of slide. Now that gives you your opportunity. And what you see from the really good drivers is they're the ones that will sit behind you for a lap, and then they've worked out where they're going to pass you next lap, and they'll set it up, and it'll look easy, and it probably is for them, but it does take some skill, and I suppose practice. Nothing really compares to seat time, and that's real racing as well as virtual.
Well said, Cowie. And with that, that is the end of the warm-up. So we're getting ready to grid for race 2. Starting lineup will pop up shortly, and hopefully I don't step all over myself this time around.
No, you're doing fine, buddy. We're getting used to hearing, a different voice on comms. An accent that we're not completely familiar with over here, even though you hear it on every movie in existence these days. Sorry, Western movie. And even our own actors go down that road too.
Yeah, I'm used to Steve doing everything. I don't know what to do.
Okay, well, I'll go for it here. Mitch Noble will be on pole for race number 2. Daniel Clutterbuck next to him, our stats man. Thanks very much for all the work you do, Clutters. I really appreciate it, buddy, as does everyone in the league. John Gallen and Brandon Levin on the second row. Peter Pavlik and Blake Urquhart, the teammates there. The Pelicans filling a good chunk of the top 10. Stephen Banks, Will Morgan. We got Ryan Nielsen and Ryan Mueller, our front row winners and runner-up from race number 1. Joe Osterwald just couldn't get Mitch Noble there at the end. Scotty Weston and Brett Taylor, the AM battle continues. Jordan Williams, Jack Snove. We got Jared Wickham, Michael Quash, Kurt Nommensen, Chris Tomlin in P19, Joe McIntyre in P20. Then we got Marty Hughes, Di Field, my teammate. I'll have to chat to Di to see what she thinks of the conditions after this one. And we got Ben O'Connell and Jacob Trainer, which I don't know if Jacob's going to join this race. But, great battle there with Joel in the chat. Glad you guys are enjoying it. I wish I was out there with you, but I am enjoying myself here in the comms as well. So, don't cry too many tears for me.
Absolutely. And, yeah, Trainer left the session and does not look like he is rejoined yet.
Yeah. He wasn't happy with his setup at the start of this race, so I'm not surprised. I mean, it is like that in the wet. I mean, you see it in real world all the time. You struggle with your setup, or you have a crash early on the first couple of practice sessions. You're well behind the 8 ball, and you're chasing your tail all week. And sometimes you get a lucky fix, a lucky tweak that works, but most of the time you don't, and you struggle.
Yeah, and it's even harder in a race like this where you're having to factor in the drying pavement into how your car is set up. It's just another huge wrinkle that you're having to work with.
Well, I'm secretly pleased at how the conditions turned out tonight because, as I said, I used the realistic weather, so it's only a forecast. I was hoping for a sort of rainy practice, maybe a rainy qualifying and a drying out in the middle of that first heat. It did dry out a bit earlier, but that first race was spectacular. Good skills from the drivers, great battles, and just conditions that, evened the field a little bit. And, anyone can make a little mistake. So there's a little bit of jeopardy out there.
Absolutely. And the countdown is done. The lights are about to go out. Green means go. We are back underway at Sebring.
Let's look for the 7 wide.
Oh, man. A horrible jump from Mitchy Noble. He is absolutely getting swamped. Meanwhile, Clutterbuck, he's leading into turn 1. Oh, we're 4 wide for the moment. Good gracious, boys and girls. And somehow we stay clean and green for now. No idea how. Incredible.
Great skills from the boys. Like that was a recipe for disaster. 4, 5 wide down the straight, 4 wide in P2. Like that is crazy.
Meanwhile, Gallant has got by Clutterbuck for the lead. So we're getting ready. Everyone trying to pile into the hairpin, almost 3 wide.
Big move up the inside from, I think that was Ryan Mueller going for a big dive down the middle, going into the end of the straight there. Look at the back, there's a massive clutter of cars trying to deal with it, trying to find grip on cold rubber on lap 1, and we're still seeing spray, so it still hasn't dried out completely.
No, it hasn't, much to the chagrin of most of the grid. Clutterbuck under pressure from Urquhart. He's going a little defensive. able to hold him off for now.
But that will cost him and time, and that's giving a nice little chance for Gallen to jump clear. So I did say that I thought Gallen might be a little plug for the fast guys behind him. Well, he's decided just to get to the front and let them deal with it.
Yeah, and right now he's just about outside of draft range, trying to run away. Is Clutterbuck trying to hold off Urquhart? I think Clutter's got a little sideways off the corner.
Good momentum here. Big move there for Levin, looking for a little bit of a wink up the inside to see what Urquhart would do as well. And already...
Oh, we're three. We are 3 wide with Jordan Williams, Chris Tomlin, and one of the SRB cars. Hey, back out of it, thankfully.
And on the, I want to bring up the bottom speed. Jared Wickman trying to get around the outside of Joel Oosterwald. A nice little cluster of cars there, battling in the for that P sort of 12, 13, 14.
And here comes Urquhart. He's alongside Clutterbuck. He's going to get the pass done. Urquhart now trying to track down his Pelican teammate.
Ryan Nielsen trying to have a little look at Mitch Noble there, as well as a wiggle from him coming off the grass, but I don't think Mitch got a great exit either, so sweeping around the outside of him, actually.
Yeah, and Morgan trying to figure out where he's going to go.
And look at
Noble
Mueller just in the background there.
Almost a bit of contact, Nielsen and Morgan. That's exactly what Noble wanted to see, and here comes Ryan Mueller. Oh, we got... Oh, no! Michael Quash. He quashed.
Oh,
Not too much damage, though.
I have to have a look and see if that was self-inflicted or someone else had a hand in that. Pretty close. Oh, looks like he... Oh. He got checked up.
Oh,
yeah,
no, yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunate. That was a tough impact, but he hit exactly where you wanted to if you were going to hit the wall, right there in the center of the door. And I don't know about you, Cowie, but I don't see, like, hardly any damage, if at all, on that Mustang.
I think iRacing has fixed it. Used to be side door damage like that. It cost you 4 or 5 Ks an hour speed down the straight, which was always a bit weird in iRacing. So I think they fixed that. But we'll keep an eye and see if that, has some effect as we go on. Looks like Levin has got through on Noble as well. So Mitch Noble's sort of the one that's sort of not tumbling down the order, but copping all the pressure from these pros coming through.
Yeah, Mitch is doing a good job holding his own. He's held them at bay for a lap. Nielsen with it now. Yeah, a big move, diving it down to the inside, but Noble's going to have the momentum on the high side, but they're still going to be side by side. Going down into a choke point.
You don't get that. Look at this, Mueller. He's looking for any opportunity to steal.
Whoa! Oh, contact between Noble and Morgan. Mother of mercy, that should have been a lot worse than what it was.
Well, I think Mitch, he saw Morgan coming through there. He might have tried to close the door. That's about as close as you risk it, I suppose. But that's a driver's move. You're not getting through.
Yeah, you shall not pass. And meanwhile, that allowed Mueller to make the overtake on his teammate. And now Noble has to hold back the point leader. He's going defensive again. Meanwhile, Chris Tomlin way off, going onto the old hairpin. That hasn't been used in this track in, gosh, decades.
Good to see him out there, though, having a go. We did a game with, it's always a case with sometimes you don't like to see drivers having a bad run and not rage quitting, but, getting sick of it out there. I deal with a little bit of burnout myself. But we better keep an eye out the front because Blake Urquhart is closing down that gap to Gallen. It's now down to half a second, I think.
64 is around McIntyre. And he's just called it in.
Now. And obviously, there's some
Let's
contact
see.
there.
Yeah, you see one of the EWT cars in front of him, and
Oh.
I think that might be Marty Hughes. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know about you, Callie, but it looked like all of a sudden McIntyre was a bit off pace in the center of the corner. Like the
Yeah.
closing rate from Hughes was unexpected.
Speed differential could be a factor there, but again, you know, rule number one is don't hit the car in front, especially when he's braking. You know, if he's braking, you've got to brake early yourself. Better keep an eye there on holding brakes as well, because that car rolled a little bit after the incident. Again, you know, if the car's moving and you're behind it, you've got to decide left or right. If they're moving, that makes that a lot harder.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Meanwhile, you see Nielsen has gotten by Brandon Levin. Levin, who's trying to run down Clutterbug for the lead of the Pro-Ams. Oh, you see Noble way sideways. And then
trying to be the cork.
I think something happened to Clutterbug. Look at that. He's fallen down into 10th. I don't know if he got a slowdown or what, but all of a sudden a huge loss of positions for Daniel Clutterbug.
It doesn't take much, you know. You're a little bit offline and have a moment, then suddenly, you know, you let half of them through. So let's have a look and see what he's done here. Oh, is that Di Philman on the radio there too? I think so. Oh, he's just outbroken himself.
Oh, yep. Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, and Brandon Levin off as well. So all of a sudden,
that cost him.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, a huge shakeup in the Pro-Ams on this lap. Clutterbuck having an issue, and then Levin having an issue, and now Mitchy Noble all alone with the Pro-Am lead by a couple seconds.
Well, it was what I was talking about before, James. It's that little bit of pressure. It's not just, you know, the guy behind you is looking to make a move. Just him being there means, you know, you've got to break a little bit deeper than you think. You're trying to hold him off. Trying to think about what line you're going to take through the corner that makes it hard for him, and then you make a tiny little mistake, and that gives him that opportunity, and that's all he wanted. Put a bit of pressure and wait to see if you crack.
Intimidate button on.
A little scary mask.
Now, Levin did call that in, so interesting to see what exactly caused his issue. He's currently battling with Mueller for P9. Something must happen to
nicely. He's sitting in there P6 and just watching.
Yeah, look at that.
Too. Yeah, he's going all right.
Yeah. Well, we're going crazy about other stuff. Peter Pav has sneaked his way on up to P6. How about that?
I've had some great races with Pete. I've had some not so great races with Pete where we made contact. I think I hit him 3 races in a row there, which I still apologise for, I think. But, you know, again, it is one of those things. You get to race against these boys, you know, and, you know, some of us probably would have done 100 races together at least.
Whoa, Noble off!
And a 5-second penalty to car 055.
Hughes, that was the McIntyre incident.
That's the one.
Oh, and Noble off again. And now Daniel Clutterbuck is back out in the lead of the Pro-Ams.
Ryan
and
Mueller now here.
Yeah, I'm curious.
He's got held up quite as much. I think early on he got caught in a little battles with a couple other drivers and got on the outside. And that cost him a chance.
It's funny you say that. I was actually about to bring that up. I'd mentioned that Levin had called in whatever happened. I'm wondering if it had something to do with Ryan Mueller, because they were right around each other in about the P4, P5 range, and now they find themselves the back half of the top 10. So I'm wondering if that was an incident between those two, and that's why they're all the way down in 9th and 10th and several seconds off of that lead battle they were in.
Just having a look back through the field to see if we've got some battles going on. Haven't had the chance to focus much on my teammate Di. She's been at the backs. She enjoys these conditions, but my teammate Troy's away, and he's the setup guru at the moment for the team. And you know, me being on comms, I didn't do any work this week either.
Ooh, and Mueller just reported Michino before moving under braking.
What happened to Mueller? He gave up a bit of time then too. So maybe tried to go a little bit deep, outbroke himself. But really trying hard to get past Mitch Noble, who has been the cork.
Oh, Oosterwald's gone around.
Oh no. He's had pace tonight, just not the result.
No. Series of unfortunate events for Oosterwald. Yeah,
He lost it himself.
Yeah, it's interesting that he lost it right there. Like, normally when you see a spin in that area, you mostly see it when you get out of that complex leading on to the straightaway before the hairpin.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
we're still seeing little rooster tails on various points of the track, so there still is that little bit of variability of a wet patch that's a bit wetter than you think. So, a bit deep there from Jacob McIntyre on the bottom screen. Back in 22nd.
oh, Oosterwald with another big moment. Meanwhile, you see on the top screen, the battle for the lead is heating up. Urquhart all over the back of his teammate. And they have absolutely run away from Ryan Nielsen.
Blake Urquhart now still putting that pressure on Gallen. The battle up front, there's been so much happening in other parts that we're not been focusing on it much. Joe Osterwald now trying to make his way back through on the bottom screen. Looking to make a move up the inside of Marty Hughes here. But he's thought better of it. So maybe trying to set up the exit here. Yeah, look at that. Trying to get a better exit. But one thing you're going to love about the final bend here at Sebring is lots of different ways you can play it. And Osterwald going into the pits. So the first of our runners. How many minutes into the race are we? 14 minutes. So I think he should be able to get home from here.
Yeah, the first of the...
Just got for tyres. Put dries on. So we've had most of the field still on wets, have we, for most of the race? Yep, and so thank you for that. Information in the back there. So, yeah, so this has been wet tyres for pretty much this whole race. So Joel going for dries, rolling the dice. We'll see how that goes. Cold rubber, it's going to be hard.
Interesting. So I was correct. The incident with Brandon Levin did in fact involve Ryan Mueller, and it was deemed as a racing incident. Although
Bit of a warning.
Yep, little bit of a finger waggle for breaking on the racing line, trying to readdress.
A good
But
little battle here happening in the bottom. We've got Jordan Williams chasing down Kurt Nommensen. This is for P13. Big sweep from the outside from, was that Brett Taylor? No, it was Jared Wickman. It ran wide on the bottom screen there. I saw a car flying through and didn't collect anyone, but it did cost him a run at that battle, and now it's looking like it's heating up there too.
It sure has.
Well, it's still Gallen over Urquhart over Nielsen now up into P3. So out of our front two from race number one, it's Ryan Nielsen making the most. Again, he's in a tight championship battle there with Ryan Mueller. So maybe some good point haul for Nielsen tonight if things stay as they are for the next 25 minutes, which they won't.
And meanwhile, Morgan and Mueller, they are on pit road right now. First of the top 10 to bring it down. And they're on dries as well. So here we go.
Have we? What? I'll have a quick look and see what sort of times Ulsterwall has been running at the moment, because that will be interesting since he has pitted. So first lap out was 2:31. Second, that would have been his in lap. The first one's 2:43. So we'll keep an eye out on his next lap time and see if he's finding some grip out there or he's struggling. So once he gets a bit of heat into the tyres, so far he's keeping it on the road. So, but it's been interesting because I think the cool temperatures only been 18 degrees sort of out on the track temp, and that's meant that it's taken a lot longer for the dries to be an option. And I know that sort of some of the pros would definitely have had an idea of where a crossover time would be. But now, get through those first sort of 7, 8, 9 laps, get into that fuel window and chuck some slicks on and hope for the best.
Absolutely.
Does look faster though. I think it might be a good move from Joel here now that they're getting up to temp. And one of the things about being the pioneer when you do that, it does mean that if that is the case, you get that eventual big deep run from Jacob McIntyre in the background on the little screen.
Meanwhile, Gallen continues to hold Urquhart at bay. Meanwhile, the battle between Taylor, Hughes, Williams, the syndicate cars, it continues to rage on.
Jared Wickman, Marty Hughes here on a good battle. Kurt Robinson, Brett Taylor in the mix here.
Way wide for Robinson.
Yep, way right, but they're still continuing on, these guys, so not probably ready for slicks. Pro-Ams and Ams here, looking to go a little bit deeper. But what jeopardy, buddy. It's turned out to be an excellent race to watch tonight. You know, just, what do they say? You know, excitement, just add water.
Absolutely, you can say that again. It's definitely making our jobs a heck of a lot easier.
Oh, well, you don't have to feel as much, do you? Because there's action every time we start to talk about something. Someone has a moment or there's a good pass. A bit of pressure here at the back here. That Marty Hughes really piling the pressure on Kurt now. And Joel's into the 212s. So he's 3 or 4 seconds faster than these guys. So I would not be surprised to see the pros all come in this lap once they have heard that time. And like Ryan Mueller, he's already done it. Or is that Mitch Noble getting out of the way there? He's had a moment.
Yeah, he's falling down the order. Oh, someone's spinning off into the background. I think it's Noble.
He's gone out on slicks and not getting the temperature in them. It is really difficult on that first lap.
Showing that. Amazing to keep it out of the wall.
Oh, bit of a moment between, is that Wickman and Hughes in the background there too, but let's go back to the, I'll go have a look at a replay, see what's happened here.
So, yep. Just
yep, there's no grip. Lit it up.
Yeah, you could tell he was trying to tiptoe through the tulips, but even still, that was not enough.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's something that's the new tyre model, but like those quick spikes in temperature in the tyres mean that they retain heat for the next couple of corners. So you've really got to be ginger when you stress the tyres. You've got to give them a few corners to get back down to that operating window, and you've got grip. And sometimes, like early on, you have a moment on cold rubber and it lights up the rears. Now suddenly you've got cold fronts, hot rears, and the car doesn't want to do anything.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, you see a few more of the front runners bringing it down. Urquhart, Gallen stays out for now. You have to imagine he's going to bring that Camaro in this time by.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure if that's a wise move because the guys that have gone down to slicks, we've got Jack's pros in the 13th. That's probably still on wets too. So the track is drying out. keep an eye on Ulsterwall's time. So we'll throw to Ulsterwall and have a look at what his times have been last few laps. So he's now down into the 11s, and it looks like the quick guys on low fuel on the wets are doing 13s to 15s. So it's at least a couple of seconds. So we'll have to see if that early move really pays off for him, or he's maybe has no rubber at the end of the race. That's the risk.
Oh, big sideway. He's from Wickman. Good save. He's battling with Mueller and Morgan. Oh, someone almost going around. Is that Urquhart right in front of him? It is. Oh, man. Oh, he is struggling on the slicks right now. Same thing like with Noble, just not able to get them up into temp. That's going to lose him the spots to Mueller and Morgan.
Cold rubber on a wet track with still, and we're still seeing spray. So, you know, that's where it is. Until you get heat in those tyres, they just don't stick. And you can see now he's starting to sort of get a bit of grip, but it took half a lap.
Yeah, that did potentially some major damage to his hopes of winning this race. Was just half a second behind his teammate.
Do we have a tyre graphic we can throw up to show who's on slicks and who's on wet? We are seeing times about 2 or 3 seconds quicker on the slicks at the moment, Pendo. But I would say all these guys coming in now, they're going to be going out on brand new shiny slicks, and they're going to have half a lap to deal with no grip. So let's see how they go.
And it looks like Morgan and Mueller are ahead of Jonathan Gallen as he comes off of pit road. The gamble has paid off spectacularly for them as it stands.
It's a hard decision to make in a race because you feel like, yeah, I'm ready to go on slicks, and then you have a moment like, nah, it's not ready yet. But again, that's where we see in these sort of races, we've got at the moment 1 Pro-Am in the top 10. I know, sorry, 3. But the top 3 spots are all pros, and it's what you see generally comes out. You know, those guys with that little bit extra skill, they're the ones that maximise these conditions.
Oh, I think Jordan Williams blinking again as Gallen goes by, Nielsen goes by. Yeah, Urquhart, even with his... yeah. And Urquhart, even with his moment, he is still ahead of Jonathan Gallen and still within striking distance of our effective leaders. Jack Snova has yet to make his stop for the slicks.
Well, remember, these two were battling at the front for the first part of this race. Gallen in P1 and Urquhart chasing him down. But yeah, we can already see, look at the advantage. Jack Snova, he hasn't pitted yet, so we can't really bring him into the pack, but it's Mueller and Morgan. And where was Mueller? He was P6, 7, 8, 9 then when we were looking at him after that moment with 11. So he has really lit it up.
He was P9, about 13 seconds behind Jonathan Gallen when he made that pit stop, and now he is a couple seconds in front and I believe pulling away.
Well, we're already seeing Mueller getting into the 209s now, so breaking the 210s, and you know the rest of the field probably doing 11s now on slicks, but if you're still on wets, you're probably still doing 13s.
Absolutely is Morgan all over the back of Mueller trying to take the lead back. You see Urquhart.
So I was going to say, Jack Snob, I think he's maybe worn down the rubber enough because he's getting down into the 10s now, but still almost a second and a half to 2 seconds off the pace of the slicks, the fast slick runners.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm at least fairly sure that he still has to make a stop for fuel. As you see, a couple of black flags for unsafe pit exits, 216, the 052, and the 175. So that's Scotty Weston.
So if that's the blend on the way in, it's a 40-second hold. If it's not, then they'll get a drive-through and have to go back through again. It was on exit. I'd say it was likely on the entrance because it is easy to cut that line there. But that's an...
Oh, we got Gallagher going around!
He did well to save that. I don't know if there was a tap in there. Yep, he's called it out, so I think he might have been a bit of contact there. But yeah, look, it's one of those things we've seen the brave, the ones willing to go on slicks early, are the ones reaping the benefit. Here's the moment.
And
Just a tiny little tap. That's all it took. These conditions, the rear just gets unsettled a little bit when you're getting on the power. It does not take much. Oh no, lost headphones dying, then lost force feedback in wheels and pedals. That's Mitch Noble. Oh, that's another one of those mechanical errors we talk about. That's unlucky, buddy. Sorry to hear. You're a nice little cork in the bottle there for a while, giving us quite a bit of entertainment.
yeah, that is unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, battle between Oosterwall and Levin.
I think Levin just got through on him now. There's the 4-lap difference in tyres here, so now that Levin's got up to speed, his rubber's 4 laps better, so just getting a little bit better traction. We're down to about 12 minutes of this motor race remaining, so maybe another 6-7 laps. So, but at the moment, it's is that Daniel Clutterbuck leading the Pro-Ams in P8?
It is.
And look, as I've sort of said, these conditions, listen, now it's the top 7 are all pros. The next 3 are Pro-Ams, you know, and even the Quashy, Mitch Noble, and who else was it that was in there? I missed, but the 3 of them, there was a mix of sort of Am and Pro-Am classes, but, you know, we tend to see in these conditions, the pros just rise to the top. They're just able to push that little bit harder, a bit more confidence, and, you know, when there's a little bit of slippiness on the road, that can equate to a second or 2 a lap.
Absolutely. You see Nielsen is all over the back of Urquhart now.
He's been right in the thick of it tonight, Blake, so I think he's been having a ball. Race control, looking at an incident with Gallen involved, so they call it a racing incident. So just an unlucky little tap, and not enough in there to say that the driver behind, you know, outbroke himself. Just a little bit of contact. So I'm not displeased with that. I think it was sometimes a little tap is all it takes, but you know, again, I think motor racing is a contact sport, regardless of what anyone thinks.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, but you're a Yank. That's why you agree. In NASCAR, you don't have rules. You have retaliation. It's all, you know, tit for tat.
Hey, I am also an IndyCar fan, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, they'd do that if the wheels had guards and they didn't brake. When they make contact, they would still hit each other. It's just
and
that
to
they
be
can't
fair,
brake if they do that.
Well, to be fair, you still get a lot of hip checks at IndyCar too. For open wheel cars, those things are robust. As you see, our car going way defensive, trying to hold Nielsen off. Oh, he's gonna outbrake himself. Slides. Oh, that could have been so much worse.
An unintentional block pass there, I think. He slid to a block pass.
Speaking of calling me out for being a Yank, I think we saw a slide job right there from Urquhart. He pulled that off to perfection? Question mark. Oh, but Nielsen is still just trying to get by. A huge break for Morgan, as that's going to give him some breathing space. Oh, another bump from Nielsen. I think Ryan's patience is all but gone after that.
Ryan Mueller has checked out in front, back to the front, and he's now showing his true pace. Just going to have a quick look at his times that he's been doing, but, you know, again, you know, showing his true class, waited for the right moment to pit, and as turning it on and now running into the low 208s. So he's finding grip. He just took a second 1.3 out of his previous lap time, so the confidence is coming in. He's clear, and now he's going to run away with it. So we'll see if Morgan can bring the fight.
Look at Urquhart drift through sunset! Wow! And he's still sideways. That is not what he wanted to do, but wow, was that fun to watch.
Again, yeah, that little overheat of the rear tyres meant that when he tried to get on the gas coming out of the last corner, he couldn't get it down, you know, and it slid out.
And if you're Ryan Nielsen, that is exactly what you wanted to see, because he is now ahead of Urquhart and will have the opportunity to try to run down Will Morgan for P2.
At the moment, it's sort of spaced out in the mid-pack at the moment, sort of basically a second or two separating a few of these cars. So, but there are a few that have pitted a little bit earlier, a few that have pitted a bit later. Jack Snow with that big long stint pitting on lap 14. He's come out in P7, but still about 8 seconds off Gallon. So maybe ran that sort of 2 or 3 laps too long, and that's probably, you know, costing that gap. But it's not over yet. 7 minutes to go.
Meanwhile, Kurt Amundsen had his own moment exit of sunset, having to make a big save himself.
And that's been the good thing about tonight. The saves, I mean, you know, in the wet, there's been a few taps and there's been some great saves tonight. So I know the Gen 3 car is definitely easier to catch than the old Gen 2 car, but it just doesn't have the grip of the old Gen 2 car. You know, when you really dialed up, you set up for the Gen 2, the thing was a weapon. It stuck. But, you know, the moment you had a little moment, the car was diabolical mid-corner. And I think the Gen 3 cars are definitely a lot more robust as it comes to sort of, you know, driving and catching and dealing with understeer and oversteer. But there also is just less front-end grip, so you got to slow the car up more than you think. Get it to turn.
Absolutely. Something I want to point out real quick. I think Nielsen might have damage from that incident with Gallon. I think the nose of that Mustang might be center punched a little bit.
Okay. I think Mueller just dropped a 207 now, so he's turning on out front.
You say that, but Morgan has actually caught him a little bit.
So Ryan Mueller did a 206.7 last lap. William Morgan did a 207 flat, 206.9 from Nielsen. So, I mean, great times up the front. And even Blake Urquhart, 207.1. So, there's some great times. Jack Snow with a 206.8 running in P7. But again, I mean, the margins between these guys is half a second at most. And we've probably only got another 3 or 4 laps. So, we'll have to see if Morgan can close that gap while keeping Nielsen behind him, because that's where the battle is. Big slide too.
Oh, look at this.
This is Scotty Weston coming up the inside there. I think that was... Trying to see who she was racing. That was that Di Fieldman, I think. Oh, no, it's not Di. Oh, it was, sorry. I do apologise. Yeah, it was a good move up the inside. But, I mean, Di, she is an off-road racer. Is an absolute weapon in the rallycross. And, you know, has come over to V8s. This is, I think, her 3rd season in the V8s now. Yeah, probably tonight. She's the only team runner tonight with me in the comms booth here. So, but I didn't really get a chance to do any work. So, holding her own, having a good battle here. And I think was that Weston had a moment in front of us, so she can now apply some pressure back. Alpha move.
Yes.
Scott went.
Yeah, Weston went wide in the hairpin. Still able to keep her at bay, though.
Blake Urquhart with a 206.7, taking the new fastest lap. until Jack's just did us 206.5. So as the fuel comes out, getting near the end of this race, the boys are starting to find some grip. We're not really seeing much in the way of spray now. A little bit, was that Levin going a little bit deep in behind Clutterbuck on the other screen, but he's recovered. But it's this front battle, Mueller and Morgan. Morgan's got that down. Something happened to Ryan Mueller. They're only 3 tenths separated now.
Yeah, all of a sudden the battle for the win has heated up. Morgan all over the back of his Pelican teammate.
I need to jump that battle up the front. Will Morgan and now Nielsen right in the hunt as well. Urquhart just off the back of it, but in a good enough position to maybe pounce if required.
And Mueller got a little sideways too a couple corners before. I don't know what's happened, but it seems like the rear tires on that Camaro might be gone or going.
Well, that's it. You know, Mueller and Morgan both pitting a lap earlier than Nielsen, 2 laps earlier than Urquhart. So I wouldn't count him out either. It's a little bit further back, 4 seconds to Stephen Banks. So he'll be locking in 5th with a 5-second gap ahead of John Gallen. But it's this battle up front. And is that Ryan Nielsen?
Oh, big move from Nielsen. Oh, he goes to the inside, to the outside, trying to get the position on Morgan. As they come off a sunset, white flag, 1 lap to go. Can Mueller hold on?
And Morgan holding a tight line there. You can see that Nielsen wanted the tight line as well to get up on the inside of him, but he shut that down. 1 lap. Mueller, he's got about 7 tenths now. He's just got clear as these two are battling behind him.
And what do you do if you're Ryan Nielsen? You know you're faster than Morgan at this point, but if you try to battle for the position, that might end your chances of going after the race win as Mueller starting to pull the gap back again.
There was a slide there from Morgan. He's done well to recover, but I think that Nielsen's going to have a speed advantage coming in here in the braking zone. Who's the bravest? Oh, both of them braking very deep.
Oh, Morgan, he went a little wide. Here comes Nielsen to the inside. Oh, Morgan. Oh, they're getting so close to each other right now.
Don't count it, Urquhart.
Morgan's going to shut the door. Oh, and he slides a little bit. That's what Nielsen needs. Around goes Nielsen, and Urquhart follows through. Morgan down to P4 rather, sorry.
This is not over yet. Urquhart's got fresher rubber. He's pushing hard. I don't know if he's going to get Mueller, but Nielsen, he's got his handful here as Urquhart's coming on hard and strong at the end. Wow, good battle. Last lap, and we're still seeing these boys fighting hard for position.
Absolutely, but it might be too little too late for these two. They're only going to have 1 more opportunity to make the move on Mueller.
Both clean off that corner too. So, yeah, probably Burkhart was the one that lost out of the 3 of them too.
Yeah, close, but not close enough for Nielsen or Urquhart. Through sunset for the final time tonight. Heading to the checker flag. It's going to be the sweep in Sebring. Ryan Mueller wins race 2 at Sebring. Oh boy, what a run to the checker flag.
Again, experience there, knowing when to pit, when's the right moment. We saw Oosterwald be the guinea pig for the field, but Mueller and Nielsen, they only waited 1 lap, and they made that call. And, you know, just that maybe hesitation by the rest of the field. We saw Mueller was P9 deep. He couldn't get any positions made early on in that race. Sort of got boxed in with a couple other battles. Does it all in the pits, and then once he's got clear air, just runs away with it. Maybe a little moment there at the end that brought him back to the field and made it exciting for us. And a great four-way battle, you know, for the last couple of laps. Just what we want to see.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's not always need to have the fastest car to win a race. Sometimes you need to have the fastest brain. Mueller with the excellent strategy call to bring home the second dub of the night.
Look, that's what these races are about. You know, I try to look at, you know, races where there can be a bit of options. So, you know, keep an eye out for a race where a fuel save maybe gets you by with a one stop instead of a two stop. You know, I try to create those situations. I think the last round at the historic Silverstone was one of those ones with another. If there had been a safety car, I was making it home. So I was trying to fuel save there and see if I could make it work, but it was still a couple laps short. So those options, keep an eye at them. Maybe I'll try and give you a heads up if I can, boys, going forward if that's on the cards. But I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in the booth here tonight.
And we enjoyed having you back in here. Definitely made my job a heck of a lot easier.
Except when I try to talk over you, buddy, but I try to minimize that. But, you know,
Oh,
maybe
please.
the delay of halfway across the world or something like that.
Oh, it's not any worse than Sinka.
Well, yeah,
We're in commercial, right? He can't hear that?
that's right.
I know. All joking aside, here are your final results from race 2 tonight. Your winner, Ryan Mueller, from Ryan Nielsen and Blake Urquhart rounding out the podium. And then P4, we have William Morgan and Stephen Banks rounding out the top 5. Jonathan Gallen, Jack Snova, Brandon Levin, Daniel Clutterbuck, and Joel Oosterwall rounding out the top 10. And then I believe
Peter Pavlik, the Jordan Williams, Chris Tomlin, Brett Taylor, Di Fieldman, P16, nice work, Di. Nominson in P17, Scotty Weston, P18, Jared Wickman and Ben O'Connell wrapping out the top 20. A few less runners this week, myself included, being on comms, and there's a couple others. Quashy finished a lap down. Mitch Noble with his mechanical error. Jaron McIntyre disappearing there, and Trainer not very happy with race 1 conditions and decided not to participate in race number 2. But mate, I thoroughly enjoyed those. Some great battles. Even at the end there, when things start to space out, normally you're talking a bit through your nose to find things to talk about. Well, we didn't have to do that at all in any of that 40 minutes.
Absolutely. And something that we unfortunately did not pick up on, keeping an eye on the battle for the overall race win, Brandon Levin ran down Daniel Clutterbuck and pipped him for the win in the Pro-Ams. So Levin, your Pro-Am winner, and the Am race win goes to, I believe, Marty Hughes. Let me double check. Yes, okay. His penalty does not cost him the win. So Am winner is Marty Hughes. And how about, partner? I take the Am winner third and first. You take the Pro-Am winner in P2?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's
Alrighty.
drag Marty down and have a chat to him, I think.
I'd say, hey, let's do it. Marty, James in the booth. You got a copy? Got a copy there, homie. James in the booth.
You might be pushed to talk in here, Marty, so you might need to find your push to talk button.
Oh, shit. Hello?
Oh, he found it all right.
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, heck of a run out there for you tonight. It was a pretty interesting race out there. Take us through your night dealing with all the conditions and the chaos.
Well, the first race was quite difficult. I had a bit of a spin, so that one didn't end up too good. But this one, the second race, it was just a matter of trying to stay out of trouble, really. And once the dry track came, it yeah, I could just put in some better times and just keep everyone at bay, really. So had a good second race. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, you had some absolutely gnarly pace out there compared to honestly most of the field, bringing home P11 as a AM driver, and you had a huge gap over second in class. Seemed like everything really favored your driving style.
Yeah, just don't really know. I'm noticing each lap I was gradually getting faster, so I was just trying to take note of, where I might have gone a bit wide and tried to adjust it for the following lap. So it just seemed to come together, really.
And one last question. Obviously, got to ask. You did get up into a little bit of a dust up that you did end up copping a little bit of a penalty for. Take us through what happened with that and what your views were.
Yeah, well, I suppose it was when the track was still a bit damp, and I wasn't expecting. Well, there was spray, but I wasn't expecting it. Him to break that early, so it was totally on me. So I got what I deserved, really. So
Yeah, and obviously it didn't affect you a whole lot. They're still able to bring home the dub. Any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you like to give before we let you go?
yeah, just to Pacific Esports Racing and all the team, and Lakes Edge Holiday Park, Dubby, and there's plenty that I've forgotten. So yeah, thanks for everyone there.
All righty, well, we appreciate you, Marty, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Fingers crossed.
Well done,
Cheers,
buddy.
boys.
All right, and
So we don't have. I just went and checked. We don't have Brandon in the green room, so unfortunately, we won't be able to talk to our pro am winner. I was going to ask him what he thought about maybe going up to the pros next week, but he's dodged that question. So we probably should bring down our third place winner, Blake Urquhart, with a great race. Well, Blake, I was chatting to you there before, buddy. I was getting ready to kick you out of the chat, but we remembered you actually finished on the podium, buddy. So well done.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Wasn't expected to be here in P3 tonight, but yeah, I'm here.
All right, so what's the general consensus amongst the boys? Did they enjoy that race? Cold track, the first race stayed wet the whole time. Even at the end, it took sort of 7 or 8 laps before you guys started to go on the dries.
Well, probably working with each other, to be honest, and especially with the front runners. We're just trying to pick when the right time to go to dries, and you did the wrong time. You pay the price, but our time worked out. I actually half spun out of not out of pit lane, but turn 5, I think it was, cost me P2. But recovered back up, and William actually had a shifter problem, so actually he should have been here, but it's probably a PR. Better car to be here for him anyway.
I was going to say you probably had 2 or 3 lap tyre advantage on the boys and there was a bit of a moment from Ryan up ahead and it squeezed it all together. Did you think you were a chance?
To be honest, when I came out of the pits, I thought I was in a bit of a chance before I spun. But yeah, when I seen Ryan do that, I thought it was game on, and it was actually on for the end of it. So hopefully we had another few laps, but that's the race and that's the way it works, and had fun, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
That's what it is, buddy. Well, there was enough of you out there on track today, but one of you has made it to the front, so you better let us know who's supporting the Pelicans out there.
Yeah, all the boys at PER, Lake Entrance Holiday Units, Majors Garage, One Shot, Track Racer, and 8 River Photographs, and W Energy Drinks as well. That's our sponsors. So, and
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for the boys for tonight, and for you guys for broadcasting and race control. Cheers, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, you give us a bit of excitement there in the end of the race and in the middle of it, so well done. And hopefully I know you've probably surpassed me now, but I might have a battle with you out there next week. We'll see how you turn out.
Hopefully you turn up, mate. Can't wait. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Catch you, mate.
All right, so do you want to have a chat to Ryan, James, or you want to save it to have a chat to the other Ryan?
I think you go ahead and talk to our runner-up.
Well, Ryan Nielsen, you guys, both you and Ryan Mueller made the call to go for the slicks. That 1 lap difference, is that what cost you?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, probably just went that fraction late, and then I saw the lap time he set, and I was like, oh, I'm already too late.
Well, man, it was a great battle to watch there. You had the better of the first half of that race getting through the traffic. What was that like? Because I know Ryan Mueller got caught up, but you seemed to get a bit of a not a golden ticket, but a decent run through those first couple of laps.
Yeah, bit of luck and bit of good racecraft, I guess, as well. I was pretty careful with picking my moves because I didn't want to cop a penalty. So I wasn't as aggressive as I could have been, but I think I sort of found the right balance, to be honest.
And how diabolical was the outlap on the slicks? It looked like it sort of took 3/4 of the lap to sort of get some grip.
Yeah, it was pretty sketchy. I almost lost it in 2 and 3 when I popped it over the curb. I thought I was a goner.
Well, man, look, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have loved to have been out there racing with you boys, but it was entertaining. I think the cold track kept it sort of slippery for a bit longer than we thought. So, but in the end, it made for some exciting racing, and congratulations on your P2. Let us know who's giving you all the support.
Yeah, thanks. Yep, thanks to the guys at Banner Alliance Racing and the sponsors Taka Testing and Commissioning, Grundy's Waste, Frosty's Kitchen, One Sports Sportswear, the Locked On Podcast, and Riley Simmons Racing for their support.
Awesome, buddy. Well, congratulations on some great battles tonight. Got to love water, add water for excitement, and you guys brought it tonight, so well done.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, James, time for me to shut up as we bring Ryan Mueller in for you. Race 1 and 2 winner. I'll say congrats now and then let you talk to him.
Well, that was certainly a heck of a race out there. Obviously, you and I are both the ones that are the most excited when there's rain in the forecast, and you showed exactly why you're excited for a track to be damp.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That I did not expect it to be that slippery, to be completely honest with you. It was just the mix of concrete and all that rain made it really slippery. So I'm glad I went to slicks early though. That really paid off. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah,
I was going to say sorry, James. Sorry. That's my fault.
All good. I think we were probably going to ask the same question. Take us through the decision to come in for slicks when you did. That really seemed to be the race-winning call coming in right then and there.
Yeah, well, it was even in the first race, the fronts were just looking a lot. I was surprised the car had that much pace in it, to be honest. But in the second race, I saw Jax Nova on the slicks, and he was doing pretty quick times. And I looked down at the relative under brakes, and he just gained about 6/10 under brakes. So that's when I knew I should just send it. I was really far back, so it was either that or go really long and hope for a good new tyre run. But yeah, as soon as I saw Jax close up on me that quick, I kind of just went in straight away just to get the heat into the tyres early. But yeah, it paid off really nicely, which was good.
Yeah, and take us through the closing laps. They started to make some ground on you right there in the final laps, but you did a fantastic job holding serve and holding strong to that race lead.
Yeah, it was my mistake. I did not charge my headset, and my headset actually died for the last 3 or 4 laps, so I could not hear gear shifts. I could not hear if I was nearly locking wheels. So I was pretty much guessing and going off what the rev lights on my dash said, which was the scariest thing I've done in a while. So I'm glad that paid off. But yeah, that's what happened. So that's why I dropped so much. But no, I'm happy to be out the front and happy to have lots of the Pelicans in the top 10, which is good. It sucks for Pav and for getting that black flag, but yeah, everyone else drove Will, and I feel for Will, especially on the last lap. He was going really well.
Yeah, but another fantastic performance for you tonight, and a good points day for the championship. Any more sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you'd like to give?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the great race every week and the awesome live streams. Everyone at PER for the ongoing support. Lake Edge Holiday Units, Majors Garage for the awesome setups again tonight. One Shot Pest Management, Track Racer, 8 Rivers Photography, our partner W Energy Drinks. My dad for all the sim gear and setting up my keyboard and mouse holder, and all of you guys and everyone in the chat for tuning in.
Oh, you're going to thank me for the rain too, buddy.
I do thank you for the rain, Cowie. You certainly saved me tonight, that's for sure.
Alrighty, well, we appreciate you, Ryan, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
All right. Well, that race delivered on everything I think we were hoping for coming into it there, Cowie.
I couldn't help myself at the end there. I had to ask you a question. You asked the same one. So, but yeah, look, no, it was great to see the clean lap one in both races too, because so many times, it's greasy out there. And, even though the boys were on wets and it had been drying up through that first session, the track temperature meant, and the fact that there's concrete meant that it never truly dried out for them until halfway through race number 2.
Yeah, and I suppose great minds think alike on that question. But yeah, I believe that just about does it for us. And Steve will be back in the seat next week, but for now, I believe you're also gonna have to deal with me for tomorrow's SFL race. But for now, that takes care of tonight from SEBRING. For my broadcast partners, Cowie and Kobe in the producer booth, I'm James Watson, bidding you adieu until next time. Good night, everyone.